What if the religion that you were taught to believe in was never meant to free you? What if it was only meant to control behavior through fear, guilt, shame, and separation? And before anyone gets defensive, let's breathe. This is not an attack on God. This is not an attack on Jesus. This is not an attack on spirituality. This is a question, a sacred one. Because if the system you follow produces hatred, judgment, superiority, division, fear of others, fear of yourself, fear of questioning, then we have to ask, is that truly divine? Or is it simply conditioning wrapped in holy language? Aveo and welcome, Starborn. I am Sarah Sigma, and this is What the Frequency, a place where remembering is sacred, healing is rebellion, and love, that's the frequency that never fades. Today we are diving into one of the most uncomfortable but necessary conversations of our time. Not religion versus atheism, not Christianity versus spirituality, but this: does what you practice actually produce love? Or does it produce separation disguised as righteousness? Today, we're talking about why fear-based religion disconnects people from themselves, how judgment became normalized in spiritual spaces, why many awakening people are leaving organized religion, and the difference between true discernment and ego wearing a scripture costume. Stay to the end, because I'm also going to share how you can reconnect with Source without abandoning your humanity, your intelligence, or your heart. Let's begin here. If your religion teaches unconditional love, why are so many people terrified inside of it? Terrified of asking questions, exploring consciousness, expressing emotion, being different, being human, making mistakes, loving the wrong people, or thinking outside approved script? Why are so many people walking around spiritually anxious? Because fear is one of the most effective control systems ever created. And many people confuse obedience with enlightenment. But hear me carefully. A loving creator would not fear your curiosity. Truth withstands examination every time. Only manipulation fears investigation. And somewhere along the way, many systems stopped teaching people how to embody love, and instead taught them how to police each other. That's not liberation. That's behavioral programming. Now let's go deeper, because this conversation matters much more than the perceived on the surface. Many people claim to follow teachings rooted in love, while simultaneously condemning strangers, shaming people online, attacking people different than them, weaponizing scripture, celebrating punishment, and dividing humanity into worthy and unworthy. And the hard truth is, some people use religion to avoid healing, because it's easier to quote scripture than to confront your shadow. It's easier to judge someone else's sin than to acknowledge your own wounds. And this isn't exclusive to Christianity. This exists everywhere. New Age spaces, spiritual communities, political ideologies, conspiracy circles, wellness movements, even love and light communities. The ego can wear any costume, including a spiritual one. That's why discernment matters. Not everyone speaking about God embodies love, and not everyone speaking about light carries integrity. Not everyone questioning religion is lost either. Some are finally waking up to this multi-dimensional experience that we have undertaken. Here's the part that may challenge your human. Deep breath. Long exhale, friend. If you study the actual teachings attributed to Jesus Christ, he consistently confronted hypocrisy, greed, spiritual superiority, performative holiness, and systems exploiting people through fear. Who was he angry with most often? Not ordinary people, religious elites, those using spirituality for control, those placing unbearable burdens on others while refusing to embody compassion themselves. And yet somehow, modern religion often resembles the exact structures that he challenged. That alone is meant to make people pause, because true spirituality will produce more compassion, more accountability, more emotional maturity, more honesty, more humility, more nervous system safety, and deeper love for humanity, not less. So if your spirituality makes you cruel, judgmental, apathetic, something somewhere has gone deeply off course. Now let's clarify something important. Discernment is healthy. Boundaries are healthy. Not everything is aligned for you, but discernment says, this doesn't resonate with me, while judgment says, you are bad because you are different than me. One protects energy, the other feeds ego. And many people were conditioned to confuse control with morality. That's why awakening feels terrifying sometimes, because you begin realizing you inherited beliefs, fears, doctrines, and identities before you ever had the chance to consciously choose them. And once light touches the shadow created by those inherited beliefs, you cannot unsee it. Real connection to Source does not disconnect you from humanity. It deepens your compassion for it. You become less reactive, less hateful, less performative, less interested in proving superiority. And you become more interested in truth, healing, integrity, embodiment, nervous system regulation, forgiveness, wisdom, and authentic connection. You stop needing enemies to validate your identity. You stop needing fear to maintain your beliefs. You stop worshiping certainty, and you begin embodying presence. Because love is not weakness. Love is coherence. Love is intelligence. Love is what remains when fear loses control. So tonight, I want you to sit with this question honestly. Does what I practice produce peace, compassion, curiosity, accountability, and deeper love? Or does it produce fear, superiority, division, shame, and emotional repression? And if it produces suffering, are you willing to question it? Not from the ego's rebellious nature, but from the soul's integrity. because truth does not require blindness. Maybe the greatest deception wasn't convincing humanity that God did or did not exist. Maybe it was convincing humanity that fear, hatred, division, and control were somehow divine. And maybe awakening isn't abandoning God at all. Maybe awakening is remembering love beneath the programming. If this conversation resonated with you, share your thoughts respectfully below. I genuinely want to hear your experience. I enjoy reading and replying to each of you. What is your experience? Did religion free you? Did it transform you? Challenge you? Let's have the conversation that many people are too afraid to have. And if this episode supported you, tap subscribe and the bell so you don't miss future conversations around consciousness, healing, embodiment, and remembrance. You can also find free activations, community, and resources at the Digital Temple of Remembrance on Gumroad. The link is below. Until next time, stay awake, stay gentle, and stay harmonic.